Hi and welcome to Spice and Pans. Today we'll be cooking salt and pepper ribs. So let's start cooking. Now we're going to marinate our pork ribs first. I have with me over here 520 grams of pork ribs. You can cut them into smaller pieces if you want, but I love it as a big piece like this. Add in 1 tablespoon of Chinese rice wine. This to get rid of the porkiness if any, and of course to make it more fragrant. Add in 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce. Half a teaspoon of sugar. 1 teaspoon of salt. Add in 2 stalks of spring onion using only the white stem. Add in also 2 slices of young ginger. 40 milliliters of water. This is to make the ribs more juicy. Add in a few dashes of white pepper. We'll massage all this in first. Squeeze the juice out of the spring onion as well as the ginger too. Mix them up. Now we'll add in egg white from an egg. Mix them up well again. In case you're wondering why I'm just using the egg white instead of a whole egg, it's because later when I deep fry them, it will be crispier. Finally, we'll add in 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour. This to tenderize the meat. Mix them up well again. We'll marinate this for an hour before we coat them with corn flour and deep fry them. I'll see you back in a while. We've marinated the pork ribs for an hour. Now all we have to do is just coat them in corn flour. Now remember to rest the ribs at room temperature for an hour before we cook them. This to ensure that they will cook properly. Just coat them well. This will be fine. Continue to coat the rest. And we'll rest them for about 10 minutes before we go and deep fry them. Now I'm going to deep fry my pork ribs. I'm using Gourmet 32 cm galactic wok. Heat up your oil, make sure it's hot enough. Using a bamboo chopstick or skewer, put it in. If you start to see bubbles slowly rising up, like this, we'll fry this now. Now we don't want the oil to be way too hot because we want the pork to be cooked through. I'm using medium heat right now, so we just slowly put in our ribs. We have rested our ribs for 10 minutes already. Don't move them, just put them in. We'll fry them for a minute or two, just to let the crust harden up. Once the crust is hardened up, we'll turn it to the other side. We'll just fry them to a light golden brown. Double frying is very crucial for this dish because it will make it extra crispy. Try to move them around a little bit just to make sure that they are brown evenly. Once you see that the color is light golden brown like this, we'll remove them from heat. This is about 80% done. We still need to double fry it and cook it thoroughly through. Now we'll turn up the heat to medium-high. Wait for the oil to get super hot and then we'll do our double fry. While we wait for the heat to rise up, let's just clear all these crumbs. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want all this crumb to be burnt and then stick onto my ribs. Now let's check the temperature of the oil. Put in your bamboo chopstick. If you see bubbles rising up rapidly like this, that means the oil is hot enough. We'll now put our ribs back in. This will be pretty fast, maybe a minute or so. We'll remove the ribs from the oil now. Beautiful golden brown, this is what we want. Remember, don't turn off the heat, otherwise the oil will be trapped inside the ribs. This is something that we do not want. Only turn off the heat after all the ribs are being removed. Now we turn off the heat and pour off all the oil. One last step before we serve the dish. Heat up your wok again using low heat. Add in 5 cloves of garlic chopped. Now there's no oil needed for this step. I will also add in 1 red chilli chopped, 1 big red chilli. We'll fry them until they are fragrant. Remember to use low heat, we don't want to burn all this. If you don't want the spiciness from the chili, remove all the seeds before you chop it up. Wow, I can start to smell this already, fantastic. Now we'll add in our ribs. Add in salt, 1 teaspoon of salt. Now saltiness, all this you can add as much or as little as you want. 1/3 of a teaspoon of crushed Sichuan pepper, a few dashes of white pepper, and just mix them up really well. The reason why I didn't add oil is because the ribs are already deep fried. So there's no need for any more oil. We don't want this dish to be super greasy. When you have mixed them up well like this, we'll add in one last ingredient. 1 stalk of spring onion chopped. Put it in, turn off the heat, and mix them up again. This dish is extremely delicious. It can be a snack, goes very well with beer, or even as a meal itself. Beautiful. All right, time to have our lunch. And now the dish is done, let's have a taste. Wow. The garlic, fantastic. Let me try. Crispy, very well marinated. The garlic taste, the pepper, the Sichuan pepper. This is indeed a very good dish. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like our video. Do click like on our video and do subscribe to our channel. And now it's your turn to cook. See you, bye bye. Wow, crispy.